but who doesn't want a fat papa, you know? Gentle crack. Gentle. Hello everyone, Isabelle here, and I am back with another blank 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 explained. Yes, that is the intro for my new series. I will be explaining some of my favorite K-dramas and their plots while I do random things. And one of my best friends back home, my girl Angel, I love you to bits, but this was a weird one. She said I had posted a bunch of things about what I should do while I explain these things, and her response was peel eggs. So I figured I don't like eating plain hard-boiled eggs, so why don't I make it into something I'll enjoy? So I had seen Chef Chris's video on TikTok. If you're not already following him, go follow him. He's hilarious, he's awesome, like Korean ajashi, but like barely ajashi vibes. But he made this video of Korean soy marinated eggs, and I'm gonna be doing that. I will be following his recipe today, and I'm going to get started on the boiling process. I'm gonna pop these eggs back in the fridge. I just took them out to film the intro, so don't worry, I'm not gonna kill anyone with rancid eggs. I'm gonna pop these in the fridge as the water boils, then I'm gonna put them in there, and then I will get started. So, we're going into Snowdrop episode 2 today. So I did write a whole bunch of notes about stuff that I did want to talk about during the episode. So if you catch me looking at my iPad, they're literally handwritten notes. So yes, I rewatched the episode just for this today. Of course, we have the husky tail coming through. But all right, so I'm just gonna start with the prep for now. We can do the sauce and stuff later. So I'm gonna just put these off to the side. And then I'm gonna bring all of this over here. And now, I do have an actual chef's knife that you're supposed to use for cutting an onion. The big one, I know how to use it. I don't trust myself while I'm sitting down, so I'm just gonna go with a smaller knife for now. It's gonna be a little difficult, and I don't have countertop space with good enough lighting, so I'm just gonna do it here. Okay. So I transferred the eggs to a bowl. Now we have stuff to put everything in. So where we left off on episode 1 was that Suho had abducted Professor Han, and he was being chased by Gangmu, which is the ANSP agent, aka, what's his name? Black Tiger, there you go. So he's being chased by him and his agents. He gets shot, and he gets stuck in the dorm room. But in the beginning of every Korean drama, I should not be waving it around like this, but for those of you affluent K-drama watchers, you know that there is always a little extra when they come. You guys should know that there is always a little bit more of a backstory in the beginning of K-drama episodes. You should always know that the end of it is never really the end, people. So a little bit more backstory. Suho and his little comrade boys, they are the ones who put holes where they pop nails into Professor Han's tires. And then in the car, he starts freaking out a little bit. So he's just like, Suho, where are we going? My house is the other way. And he points a gun to him. He uses this as, so he has an advantage on him, obviously. And he explains that his son had defected to the north, and the only way that he was going to be freed is if Professor Han defected to the north as well, and then they could send them both back to South Korea together in one piece, I was gonna say, but there's 2 of them. So in 2 perfectly healthy pieces is what Suho was offering him. So he agrees, he shuts up, but then he realizes that Gangmu and his team are following them and are starting to chase them. So Gumchol, which is one of the comrades, I think he's a little sweetheart, all he really cares about is getting home. And him and then the second in command, that telephone wire guy at the end of the first episode, yeah, him, Suho, and Professor Han and Gumchol are all in the car. He lets him know, and then they start driving through tunnels and everything like that, trying to evade them. And they do, but then at an intersection, they get cut off by Gangmu's members. Well, not members, comrades, teammates, workers. I don't know what else they're called. Officers, thank you. But his other officers essentially T-bone them, causing Gumsol and Professor Han to be rendered unconscious. So, Comrade Ju and Suho, they're both awake enough that they can escape. So they both run in different directions. But Gangmu is so obsessed with getting Taedong River 1 that he goes after Suho himself, along with his other officers. And so in this chase, Suho pulls out a gun, Gangmu pulls out his gun, everybody is shooting everybody at this point, and then he gets hit in the shoulder. Suho gets hit in the shoulder. He's all like, ah, I'm in so much pain. But he's running up a hill, and at some point that hill breaks off, he falls down the long cascade, and then his back hits a humongous rock, so you can hear the bone just go, and then ah! And so after that, he's got a pretty bad limp now, and he lands in front of a fence. He doesn't realize it's a dormitory at first, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but he climbs over the fence and looks for an open window in order to go hide. So he scales the window, same way that Youngro did in the first episode. He is climbing, and he's shot. He's in pain, but he's doing this. So he's scaling the wall, finds an open window, and then pops on in. I just heard the water boil. I'm gonna go do the eggs right now. Okay, so the water just finished boiling. I'm gonna get this going on high, but we're gonna pour this. This is very dangerous. Do not film and pour boiling water, please. Okay. Yes, see, this is why we do not film and pour boiling water. Yeah, just a little cleanliness issue. So, boiling water. 8 eggs. Alrighty, I have some hot water and some eggs sitting in the hot water. They're taking a little bath. So now I'm gonna hold off on doing that, and I'm going to get started on my jalapenos. Yes, I washed my hands. I know I just wiped my face, but get over it. So I personally, anytime I make Korean brisket sauce for KBBQ, I really like to leave in the seeds just because they're so spicy and they're so delicious. So I'm gonna leave in the seeds. Okay, where was I? So he's scaling the wall, he finds an empty room to hide in, and that's where we ended episode 1 essentially. He's in the room, and then Youngro finds him. So what she doesn't know is what's going on downstairs. All she's caring about is cleaning up the blood, trying to help him out, because she is assuming that he's another student protester that got injured during the protest, because Jungmin, her other roommate, was just there at one. So as of right now, she's just trying to clean up the blood, trying to put pressure on whatever is like hurting him and stuff like that. Solhee walks in, the other young girl of the same age, and she just starts screaming. She's like, oh my god, who is that? Why is he bleeding? Like a normal reaction of a normal young 20-year-old girl would. And so, oh my goodness, I better wash my hands because this is gonna burn if I touch my face. Oh yeah. And so she walks in, starts screaming, and Unyoung-ro, she's just like, just help me, please, please. He's one of the guys we went on a date with. And so she gets down on her knees, she's starting to scrub, and then, she, like I said, she doesn't know what's going on downstairs. So downstairs, Lee Gang-moo as well as Hana have infiltrated the dormitory, trying to find out where the spy is, and they run into Miss P, or more like she comes outside due to all of the commotion. And Hana is so angry at her, and Miss P just puts all the girls in lockdown. She's like, you are not searching this dorm without a warrant. She tells all the girls, just hide in the nearest room, do not open any door for anybody, not even me, until I give the all clear over the PA. And Hana gets super pissed, so she walks up to her with a gun in her face, and she is just like, reverse the order. She walks up to the PA system and reinforces the order. She's like, do not come out of your rooms, or I swear to God, you'll be expelled. Hana gets so pissed. She's about to cold cock her with the gun, and then Gangmu stops her. He's just like, just go get the warrant. Just calm down, okay? You have time. Just calm down. It's okay. He's trapped in here since they're on lockdown. All the doors are locked. And so she gets pissed. She's just like, fine, you know what? Fine, I'll go. So she goes. Because of this order, all the girls are running back to their dorm. So Hye-dong and Jungmin, the student protester, they make it back into their room and they see Sol-hee and Eun-young-ro just scrubbing away at the floor. And they're just like, what the heck is this? Young-ro like instantly tells them, oh, he's a protester. Like, he just was in here when I came back in from the library. Like, we have to help him. And so Jungmin, she's instantly just like in it. She's like, okay, what can I do? Scrub, this, and that. And then Hye-dong is just like, didn't you hear? They're looking for a spy. That could be him for all we know. And then Jungmin points out, it's just like, you know, the ANSP like frames people as spies even when they're just protesting so that they have a reason to arrest them. And then Young-do mentions, this is the guy that we went on the date with. So how harmful could he be to us? So knowingly, the three of them are essentially helping him. So by this point, Gangmu is trying to get a lay of the land, seeing where he could have hidden. Okay, so the timer just went off and I put some water in the freezer because I don't have ice cubes. So hopefully this will be cold enough to kind of shock the eggs. They're really hot, but they feel a lot heavier and a lot denser. I don't hear anything swishing around in there, so hopefully they're cooked. I'm gonna pop them into this ice cold water, well, not ice cold, but cold water. Oh, I can commit crimes after this, oh my God. Just to kind of shock them and prevent them from cooking any longer. Yeah. And another one. Oh God. Two more. I can do this. I'm a woman. Okay. Last one. Dinosaur egg. Oh goodness gracious. I was getting into something and then Casper started barking because there's people walking down the hall and then the egg timer went off. So in this corner I have all 8 eggs in some relatively cold water and they're gonna sit there until we're ready for them and then we'll peel them. Gangmu is trying to get the lay of the land as to where his culprit could be hiding. And so he asks for any blueprints or stuff like that and Bunok eagerly gives them to him. She was just like, here you go, and then there's this little exit here, the only way out is through the front, like telling him every little nook and cranny of the place. And so Grandpa just gets upset. He's just like, what are you doing? And she was just like, we have to cooperate, don't we? Otherwise we're gonna be seen as spies. And she's just like getting really worked up over nothing. Like trying to save her own skin without worrying about others. He asks him, he's just like, so there's no other way out except for the front door, right? And he said, there's one entrance that the girls don't know about. So we have that one as well. I lost a seed, but there's an entrance that the girls don't know about, and it's never really explained. And so at this point, up in 207, Suho is awakening. And he is just like, where am I? Who are you? And she starts singing the song. She's like, oh my God, you're awake, you're awake. It's me, Eun-young-ro. Remember? One-way ticket, one-way ticket. Like she knows that's something that they bonded over, which I thought was really cute. So he remembers her, and then he's like trying to escape, but he's seriously injured, like bleeding, heavily injured. So they're just like, no, we have to take care of him. We gotta do something. And then she mentions that there's police there. So she gets all super freaked out and she's like, oh my God. So at this point, they gotta find somewhere to hide him. And then downstairs in her office, Miss P, she's kind of having like a little flashback moment. Like she's getting pretty stressed out. And her flashback moment is her brutally beaten, hands tied, being dangled over a damn waterfall. Not D-A-M-N waterfall, a literal damn wall that has a waterfall going off the other side. So she's just in her moment, she's in her feel, she's getting super scared, and then Hannah walks in, smacks down the warrant, she's like, I got it, like I'm here, you can let us search now. Meanwhile, outside, Gangmu, he's like surveilling the place and they find the blood of the fence where Suho had landed in front of, so they follow it and they know that he is in room 207. And so once they get the warrant, they get inside and then that's the first room that they go to. So they go into 207, but it's Hyeon on her own. And she was cleaning something, and then the second that they got into, she can hear them coming down the hall, so she's getting super freaked out. They come into the room, she's like, oh my god, who are you? Just because she was the only one in the room, they asked her, where are your roommates? And she said, they're in the bathroom. They're taking a shower, they're in the bathhouse. And he was just like, why would they not come up here? Why would they just stay in the shower if they knew that it was a lockdown? And Miss P, this is her chance. She notices some blood on the door jamb. She's like, oh my goodness, they are doing something. So she steps and covers the blood spot, and she's like, there's no intercoms in the bathhouse. How would they hear? And so they're just like, okay, well, let's go search the bathhouse. And so in the bathroom area, they get down there. Suho is exhausted. He's bleeding everywhere. And they were just like, okay, what can we do at this point? So they hide him in a sauna bench. They can hear them about to come into the bathroom. So Jungmin has this idea. She's just like, take off your clothes right now. And the girls are like, what? They're just like, they're not gonna suspect 3 naked girls. And so she tells Suho, close your eyes. So he closes his eyes, and then they just start throwing his clothes on top of him. And there's a really funny scene of where like there's a blue lace bra or something that's just sitting on top of him, and it's kind of funny. I don't think the onions are gonna fit in this. Just a couple cloves. So then they're sitting there naked, and then outside they can hear Lee Gang-moo trying to negotiate with Miss P to let him search the bathroom because they're the only girls not accounted for it. And she was just like, these are 20-year-old girls. You really want grown men in there with them, terrifying them as they're trying to take a shower. Like, they have no idea what's going on, which is a valid point. So then Hana volunteers. She's just like, I can go in alone. Don't send in anyone else, just me. And so she goes in and she hears them singing in the sauna, and she pops in with her gun. And they're just like, oh my god, no, don't shoot, please. And then in this moment, she starts questioning them. She's like, why are you guys down here? Don't you know there's a lockdown? And everyone is just like, no, how would we know? Like, it's crazy. Like, how would we know? We were in here the whole time. And at this point, Seolhee starts crying. She's flipping out. And she's like, why are you crying? Like, there's nothing scary happening to you unless you're hiding something. And she was just like, no, I'm not hiding anything. And then she starts shaking. And at this point, Jungmin and Youngdo, they can see blood starting to trickle out from the bottom of the bench. Suho is bleeding like crazy. And from below, he can see also that the blood is going past the girls' feet. So at this point, as Hana is about to step forward or make them stand up, Youngdo stands up in her face, and she's just like, well, what do you expect us to be? We should be frightened. There's a person that just walked in while we were naked, pointing a gun at us. Like, she has a valid point. And so in this, Hana, I apologize, I'm pronouncing her name wrong. But Hana, at this point, she's just like, okay, well, I apologize. Please finish the rest of your bath, you know? Like, I'm really sorry. Or she doesn't really say it, but I think at least she should. And at this point, Seolhee's like flipping out. She's like, oh my god, we're gonna get caught. But Hana's already out of there, and yeah. So at that point, she clears the entire bathroom, and then Gang-moo is just like, okay, fine, he's not here. Let's just get out, you know? Professor Han and Gumchol, the other comrade for the North, were taken into questioning. How do people cook sitting down? Do they cook sitting down? But yes, they're taken into questioning. Let's get going here. This is difficult. It was easier when I was doing my makeup. Oh my god. So the girls, they get dressed again, and they start putting him into a linen closet. Just for now, until after roll call when they can move about freely without worrying about Miss P. So they put him into a linen closet, and then Youngdo sends the other 2 girls away because of roll call. And they have to go let Hyeon know what happened so that she's up to date on everything. So the other 2 girls leave, and she's like vigorously scrubbing at the floor, trying to get the blood off the ground. And he's just like, how can I ever repay you? And she's like, I'm not doing this for free. And he's like, what? So she said, it's for the tape that you bought me a couple months ago. And he was like, oh. It's so awkward and silent. So then he stays there for a little bit. She puts a whole bunch of stuff and like covers up his wound and such. And then at a certain point in the middle, not in the middle, I think it's like later in the night, but what's her name? Kia Bunok shows up and is like running around in the bathroom or something. So it was really weird, but he noticed that. Oh, I cut off the wrong end. Oh, this is very potent. Just cut in half. Ugh, cut the wrong end. Lovely, and I don't have another onion. Sorry, worst cooks of America, but you're gonna have to come for me. At this point, Eun Chang-soo, the head of ANSP, gets a call from one of his inside agents on Gangmu's team, and he's just like, oh, so we followed him into this and stuff like that, and he's pissed. He's just like, why are you doing that? Why didn't you stop him? And he's just like, you told me to be discreet. How could I stop him without looking like a traitor, you know? And he was just like, okay, fine, fine. He also tells him about the fact that Professor Han, when they brought him into questioning, he's still claiming that he had a flat tire, which he did. He didn't really know anything that was going on. So, kind of don't want to dice them because I'm lazy. Yeah. And then he said, okay, just go back to observing everything as normal. At this point, right after the conversation ends, Tom, the Secretary General or Secretary of State equivalent, walks in and he's just like, what are you doing, huh? And they get into some useless fight, but it's revealed that they have a plan with Northern Korea to have their agents come by and abduct Han, and in return, the North will defame their opposing political party so that their candidate will get reelected. That's essentially what's going on. And then they're gonna pay them like a very large sum of money also. Yes, I know this is not how you cut an onion. I know how to cut an onion, but I am lazy. And this is just how you're gonna have to deal with it. It's my food. Why should you complain? I'm gonna cut them a little shorter so that everyone will fit. I don't even think I need half an onion. But yeah, so that plan gets revealed, and then I'm gonna call him George. His name is An Gyung-hee, but his name is a little hard to pronounce, and honestly, I don't really like him that much, so I'm gonna call him George. But this guy George, he's like the chief assistant to Mr. Eun Chang-soo. So he comes in and he tells Gangmu to stop pursuing Suho. He's just like, it's not gonna work, it's useless. I know you have a grudge, but it's really not needed. But then he was just like, I'm not gonna stop, man. I'm not gonna stop until he's caught. And then at that point, he goes down into their questioning area, or essentially like their torture chamber, where they have Gumchol, which is the comrade that was driving. And he's like, I'm not telling you anything. He's like, as he's being questioned, the questioner is like trying to reveal what's the real plan of the North, and they were beating him while they were doing it like a torture chamber. And so they leave Gumchol alone for like a minute, and he's able to sneak a cyanide pill out of his sewn clothing, takes it, and they're trying to make him spit it back out, but he ends up dying by suicide because of his love for his country. And everyone is just like, dang, now we don't have anything to go on. We're going crazy here. I can't cut and speak. How does Rosanna Panzino do this? She does it a lot better than I do, granted. But now, back at the dorm, it's after roll call, everyone is fine. But everyone in room 207, except for Hyedong, are making a plan to hide Suho in essentially their dorm's attic. Just so you know, this is a very experience for Solhee. It's a very scary experience for her because their previous dorm operator, had killed herself up there. So everyone assumed that it was super haunted, super scary, never worth going up there for, right? But because of that, that's why they thought it was such a good idea to hide him up there, because no one will go up there. So they have to go ask Grandpa for the key, and they have to explain everything to him. And he was just like, I trust you. I trust Youngrel the most. So if she's trying to help you, then I'll try to help you. Like, he's a loyal grandpa. And so he gets the key and brings them up there. But as they're coming up from his room at the basement, they see Gye Bunok strutting down the basement hallway. She's having a good time. She's in some like super crazy dress, and she is wearing some shoes, some high heels that are not hers. And we know that they're not hers because Jungmin reveals that Soli cried for a month after losing those shoes, so she's the one stealing them. Why has she not been reprimanded? All this type of stuff. And they had, as they were making their way up, he said to be careful of Gyabunok because she was being way too friendly with the cops, and she was trying to look for some reward money, you know, because she needs it. And I mean, I can't blame her, but I can also blame her because there's different ways about going about those things. So at this point, they're just trying to get him up there. So once they open the door and everything, they say that the ANSP is watching from outside, so no lights at all. And then their dorm president, her name is Gyeongja, but I'm gonna call her Gina, just because I don't. So Gina, she's a law student, so she studies in the dorm library until like 2 a.m. That's why they're doing that. And he can't walk around, he can't really do anything. So at this point, everyone goes to bed except for Youngdo and Suho. And so now she's like bandaging up his wounds and all that stuff and getting him settled in. So then she notices his necklace and she was just like, oh, maybe I should ask him about it, maybe not, I don't know. But then the next morning she wakes up, it's like super early, and then Seolhee is just like, aren't you gonna bring him food? What's he gonna eat? And so her and Youngro, they try to stuff like their like metal tins into a humongous hiking bag to bring him food. So they go in line and then they get their food trays and then they're just like sneakily dumping them into the trays. That's what's going on there. And then they go back in line a second time with glasses and their makeup done to try to get more food. And then the cafeteria director, she's like, okay, first of all, I don't think I needed 2 jalapenos. But yeah, so she ends up giving them the extra food anyway. She's like, go ahead. But at this point, he's upstairs, he's alone, he's walking around. The night before, he found like a radio up there that he's been tampering with to try to get messages from the north, or so it seems. And then she comes up with the food that morning, and she knocks, and then he just straight up opens the door. She's like, hey, we need to have a code knock. So she goes, if it's, then it's me. So you have to open it right away. Agreed? Agreed. And then at this point, she starts taking out the food for him, and he's just like, I want newspapers, I want batteries, I need a map of the place. Like, just trying to get what he wants. And she's just like, hey, I tried to help you, and now you're just telling me everything you want. Just eat, just eat. And then she notices his necklace. And then she asks him about it, and he says, it's more precious to me than my life. And she gets upset because like maybe he has a girlfriend. Like, I'd be upset too. And so she runs away. She's like, you know what, I have a report to finish by Monday, so I really gotta go. And so she leaves. He tries to follow after her, but because he's injured, he's slow. So he walks after her, and then he can't make it. He like starts walking around, and then you can hear the squeaking in the floorboards. And then downstairs, all the girls are in the library, so they're hearing this, and Gina, she's like, everyone stop, let me listen. And so it keeps happening. And then he's upstairs, he's walking around, he tries to sit on a chair, and it breaks underneath him. So then there's humongous crash and thud on the roof, and the girls start screaming that, oh my god, it's a ghost, it's a ghost! So they all like try to run away, and then they're smart enough to leave well enough alone. So they leave that alone. Oh my god, how many jalapenos are in here? Jeez. Okay, Chef Chris, I don't think we needed that many jalapenos. Or maybe the ones that I have are just way too fat. But who doesn't want a fat pepper, you know? So they're all freaked out and having a rough day, you know, rough morning. So now we're getting more into the politics of this show. So a lot of the show is the wives of all the government people. So there's the wife of Eun Chang-soo, there's the wife of Tom, and then there's the wife of George. So the wife of George, she's like a fashion designer, and she has her own like dress shop and clothes shop and stuff, and she likes to host Tom's and Chang-soo's wife a lot. So I don't really know their names, I'm just gonna address them as such. So Amy, Chang-soo's wife, and then Susie, Tom's wife. They have like some power issues. Like Susie likes to have a lot more say than Amy does. And then Amy's just like fed up with it. She's just like, I have power too, you know? But like, not in that way. 1 cup of broth. So then as they're fighting for power, George's wife, where's her name? I'm gonna call her Mimi. But Mimi tries to kiss up to whoever's winning, essentially. So she kisses up to Susie a lot because Amy don't say anything. And she told her husband to do the same thing to Susie's husband, to get close to him because he's probably a future presidential candidate. Okay, I think the eggs will fit. And then half a cup of sugar. I don't think this is gonna go that well. But then everyone's boasting about how amazing their husband is and such. And then meanwhile, Susie is like, it's her birthday and she's like having all the girls over and she gives them knives that say sincerity on them. But I mean, her husband isn't that sincere because why? At that exact same moment in time, he is off visiting his doctor girlfriend at her office because he has high blood pressure. I don't give a crap about Tom, okay? His girlfriend, her name is Tonya, and I'm keeping her Korean name for a specific reason. So Tonya is a doctor at like the best hospital in Seoul. So I'm just gonna mix. She's a doctor at this great hospital, and she is like a pretty good person. And she actually gives him a gift to give to his wife on her birthday. Like, not even his assistant reminded him that it was his wife's birthday, but his lover did. Like, isn't that strange? So she gives him a gift to give to her, and you know, that's just like a quick and easy scene for them. But it's just weird. So it's the next morning, and Saturdays they allow other people on campus, but boys are still not allowed in the dorm, like Avi. And so Young-do is sitting in her room, and she's like exhausted. She does not want to be up that early. And then so he was just like, well, who's gonna bring him food? And she's like, okay, fine, I guess I'll do it. And then so she goes up there, gives him a baggie. He opens up the door for her, and she's just like, no, sorry, I actually still have to finish my report, so I'll see you later. And so she runs away, and I'm just like, that's kind of sad. But then later that morning, there's sugar everywhere. But later that morning, she hears someone calling her name from outside, and it's her brother who had just been enlisted in the military. He came to visit her, and she was worried because he kept telling her that he had no time off, he had no time to go see her and all that stuff, but he was able to come and visit. He was able to pull some strings. So I'm gonna get a little water in my kimchi jar, and I'm gonna stick an egg in there. Please, pretty please, let these be cooked, because I'm scared. Did that do anything? Is this kimchi jar not hard enough to break an egg? There you go. Oh, broke the egg already. Oh yeah, shook it too hard, and I don't think these are cooked. Yeah, I don't think they're cooked. They're like medium boiled, but oh yeah, Jesus, these are not. Yeah, they are not cooked. Maybe I shook it too hard? Yeah, because that is not coming off of the shell. I got a yolk. Let's dump that. Ugh. Oh! What do I do? Okay, let me try tapping gently. Oh, my hands. Oh yeah, no, these are not cooked. Okay, so I'm boiling more eggs in some water, of course. Gee, goodness gracious, oh my God, this is a mess. Why'd I do this to myself? Angel, why'd you do this to me? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This is for the dishwasher. Well, I don't have a dishwasher, but it's for me later, okay? I'm just gonna clean up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so I reboiled the eggs and I just checked one of them and they are cooked. So yeah, I'm gonna go grab the rest of them, put them in some cold water so that I can handle them. And then yeah, so where was I? So yeah, so his girlfriend bought a gift for his wife, and then Saturday morning she doesn't want to get up. She's just like, ugh. So he's like, who's gonna bring him food? And so she like eagerly gets up to go grab food for him. And then when she gets up there, she does her knock. He gets excited. He waddles on over to the door, opens it. She gives him the food, and he's like, come in. A slightly deformed boiled egg. He like opens the door more for her, but she doesn't want to go in because she's upset about the necklace, which is so sad. But then she's like, I actually still have to finish the report, so I'll see you later. So she heads back down, and then a couple hours go by, and she hears someone call her name out of her window. She looks outside. It's her older brother, Youngwoo. And he's just like, hi, and she gets super excited, so she sprints out of the dorm, and she's like, how'd you get in here? I thought you didn't have time. I thought you weren't having any leave for a while. And he's like, well, I pulled some strings, you know me. And she gets super excited. She starts sneezing because it's really cold, so puts a little scarf around her, and up at the top, you can see Mr. Suho getting a bit jealous. He's just like, I miss my sister. Like, I don't think it's a romantic jealous. I think maybe because she said that she was busy when she like is going out with her brother, you know. I guess it's that type of thing. Later that day, she goes up there to change his bandages, and he's just like, oh, do you finish your report? And she's like, yeah, I did. Like being salty about it. He was being salty. And so she goes to change his bandages, and she, like, I'm not sure how it came about, but I'm assuming that he told her that he saw her and her brother, and he asked her, he was just like, do you nag him a lot, like as if you're his mother? And she was like, well, I mean, yeah, what else am I gonna do? He has to be safe. And he was like, my sister's the exact same way. And then he holds his necklace, and she's like, oh, your sister's the one who gave that to you. And he said, yeah, and it shows this flashback scene. I'm not sure why, but the size of the screen changes and the quality goes down, like super 1980s video quality. And then it's his sister. Both of them are in their uniforms, and she gives him the necklace. She's like, this will keep you safe. She made him promise to come back to the north, to come back to her, to protect her. And he was just like, yes, of course. And so at this point, she's like on better terms with him. Like, as she finds out that the necklace was not from a girlfriend, she had no reason to be mad. She like spills a drink on his bandages. So she runs into the corner to see a rusty tub and turns it on, of all things. I'm sorry, if I see a rusty tub in an attic, why would I assume that it's connected to running water? And even if it is, why would I turn it on when we're trying to be silent? But she turns on the water. It's like disgusting brown water, but she still washes his bandages in it. I'm just like, okay, if these are gonna be applied to human skin, maybe you should like actually use soap. But she rinses them off, turns off the water, but what she doesn't realize is that it drains into the tub through a tube and into the water drain on the floor of the attic. Now this is very bad because directly below the attic is the library, and who is studying there late at night? Gina. And what drops onto her law books? Dirty poop water. I'm not sure if it's poop, maybe it's rust, but there was a brown dot on her law book, and she's like, ghosts don't use water. So she goes to get Miss P, and she's just like, there's water dripping from above the library. And so both of them go to Grandpa, and they ask him, hey, open up the attic, we gotta see where the water's coming from. And he was just like, well, I can just fix it tomorrow. And she was just like, get the keys. So they make their way up super slowly. He's trying to distract her. And meanwhile, in the attic, Youngno is like drawing out a map with Suho to try to find his way of escape. And she said, no, the main gate is the only way to exit because there's no other way. Like, I tried looking for a basement entrance, but there's not. So the only way out is through the main gate. And then as they're talking, Miss P, Gina, Grandpa, and then all of a sudden Bun-ok is sneaking up behind everybody. Who's the real spy here, Bun-ok? Gentle crack. Bruh. Suho, but who's the real spy? But Bunok is like hiding in the shadows trying to figure out what's going on because she wants to know if the spy is hiding up in the attic. So she's following everyone and then everyone is trying to go into the room. So Grandpa, he's trying to speak really loudly and make a lot of noise so that the two inside can hear him and like try to find a hiding place. And he tries to hide the fact that the door is already unlocked a little bit. So he's just like jiggling with it. But then they get into the room and the scene switches of like the two of them facing each other and they're just like scared, like breathing heavily. And then that's where the episode ends. It's cut, done, done and done. This explanation, I'm not sure if it was faster or shorter than my last one, but yeah. But yeah, so that's where it ends. And then the bonus scene, oh, I almost forgot the bonus scene. So in the bonus scene, Suho and his comrades, they have a little hideout of their own. It's not specified where yet in Seoul, but they have a little hideout. And so Comrade Ju, that's just what I'm gonna call him because I don't know his first name. They barely say it in the show. But Comrade Ju is like wiping his weapon and Gumchol, he's sitting down, he's just like, hey, Comrade Ju, what would you do? What are you gonna do when we get home? And he's just like, why would you ask a dumb question like that? How do you know we're going home? And so then Suho walks over, like trying not to make him feel bad. He's just like, what are you gonna do, Gumchol? And he was just like, I wanna drive to downtown Pyongyang with my mom. It was so wholesome, it was so cute. And then he asked Suho, he's like, well, what do you wanna do, sir? Like as his leader. And he's just like, I'm gonna go back home and hold my sister's child in my arms. And what I thought, I was like, his sister is a baby? She's younger than he is? Maybe he's a little bit older than we thought. But I think he's like 21, 22. But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe? I think I covered everything. Pretty sure. Angel, I hope you're happy. And for those of you watching me suffer, I apologize. But I hope you guys enjoyed my explanation of episode 2 of Snowdrop. If you did, please leave a like and comment down below what you'd like to see me do next, as well as any other tasks that you'd like me to perform. Please hit the subscribe button for me to continue making these videos for you, as well as hit the bell for notifications on whenever I post a new video, because I never know when I'm gonna post a new video, let alone what it's going to be like, because if it's gonna be another one of these, I may just not post at all. So, just do what you gotta do, I'll do what I gotta do, and we'll all be happy, okay? Okay. But yeah, this was an epic fail. Oh, it's leaking. Why did I decide to do this to myself? I don't know how to cook. Oh, well, I hope you enjoyed this mess of the video. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a nice hot shower and probably cry because now my house smells like eggs. So, I bid you adieu and good night. And I don't know what else. I am so upset. Thanks for watching.